Hi everyone, we're here today with Leanne for another software engineering mock interview. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Leanne. Can you quickly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for conducting interview with me. My name's Leanne. I work as software engineer at Twitter before, and also engineer manager at Zynga.
Okay, awesome. I'm really excited to see some of your front-end knowledge today. But before we get
Okay.
started, be sure to click the link in the description to check out Exponent's software engineering interview course. Ace your interview with a library of interview questions, in-depth mock interviews on coding and system design, and a peer-to-peer mock interview tool to practice yourself. Okay, so let's get right into it. Our question today is build an image carousel that displays a sequence of images. And we've started you out here with some skeleton code. You can see that this skeleton code has some example image URLs in an array. And in
Mhm.
general, you want this image carousel to be centered on the screen, and you can fill the background with black. Any questions about that?
Yeah. Uh, Let me just take a look at images. So okay, so there's a bunch of images like that. Okay. So assuming that this is all fixed images, and we're not fetching more data. This is just we're playing around with
Yep.
these data. at the beginning.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. When you say image carousel, can you tell me like exactly like what are we doing? Are we building a next button or is it infinite looping? What's the behavior like?
Yeah, so we'd like to see like left and right navigation buttons that the user can navigate through the images. So it should be like a cycling behavior. So if the user gets the last image, then and then clicks the arrow, it'll just go back to the first image. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. How would you like to show the images? Is it you want to just whatever, or is it supposed to be a center page? What would you like? Do you have any
Uh,
style criteria at this moment?
it should just be centered on the screen. I would request a maximum size of maybe like 600 by 400 pixels.
Okay, sounds good. Um, yeah. I think I have some requirements that I understood. Maybe I'll just get started first and see
Okay,
how it goes. Yeah, so
sounds good.
mhm. It sounds like we're building an image carousel. So the first thing I would think about is probably think about all the states that probably need to do. So if these images are loaded, if I want to show one images, I'm probably gonna need to have uh, you can show a bunch of images using a map that
Mhm.
will look through everything. But I think image carousel you want to show one at a time. So in this case, I think our states probably need to be a storing the current index of the images. So let's just do that for now. Um, state. So I'm gonna assume the current index is 0 in the beginning when it first loaded, and and then we can go from using the apps images features. Images current index, and then we can do current images. So you have the current images uh, data. I want to show the images, so I'll use a image source tag, and then it will be current image dot source, and then normally we want to out just for accessibility purposes. So you want to make sure that it shows the type out, as in this case, and then you can see. Yeah, now I show what images. Um,
Okay.
the next step is I'm thinking that um, you need to show like previous button and next button. So I'll just put that in. Um, Previous and if you can give me a time, so I can know when what's my progress. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been about 5 minutes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just put the previous and next button. And then I'm gonna work on toggling between previous and next. So I'm gonna create a handler called onClick, called handle previous, and then click handle next. So in that case, I'm gonna create a function here called handle previous, and then handle next. All right. So when we click on previous, it go back to the image before. If we click again, I will go to the next one. So that means that in this case, we are changing the current index. So we can just do say current previously -1. Current index -1, and then here will be set current index +1. I think let's just test it out. Next, we'll go to so we go to the next one. I think there might be issues. It's gonna go out of bound. So
okay.
we need to fix that. So I think
Okay.
you told me that if we go to the at the end, you want to loop back to the front, right?
Yeah, exactly. It should cycle.
Let's just do that then. So if it's good, so let's think. So if current index, so if it's if it's in the beginning, you want to go to if current index equals to current index if I go to 0, then set current index will be on the length images dot length -1 else index actually let's try this. Okay, go back to the previous. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about what that code does?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that if you go previous one, if it's index 0, then you need to go back to the end. So I'm just setting it back to the end of the images. If it's not, then you can just decrease this. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and the same thing for here. Index at the end. So if it's image dot length -1, if it's the current index at the last image, then we need to set that the next image to the first one 0. Else, then you just increase this. Okay, I think this is fine. Any other requirement that you want to do? Do you want me to the navigation?
Yeah. Do you remember how we mentioned that the carousel background should also be filled with black?
Oh yeah. Okay, I can do the styling if you want. Okay. So in that case, normally for styling, I have a let me think. So let's see. Maybe I'll just do like that. Just play around with it here. So we have a container. First of all, think, and then you want it in the center. Let me think.
Yep.
I think it's called justified content, which is center, and then line items. We want to be in the center, so it need to be like direction is column. Oh, actually, that's not right. Oh, I see. We need a height. Here you go. That's better. That way that it can be automatically centered. And
Okay,
then
nice.
you want the color to be black. So for images, I think you just do a background color black. Let's see if that works. You don't see it because the image covered. There's a dimension. What is the dimension that you want? It is, I think you told me that it would be width 600, right? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, maximum. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had to put it here for now because I need to put a style here before I refresh it. X, and then just normally I just copy from here. Oh, it's gone. And then images. So for images, I'm gonna put a container because I normally like to do that for images. I can just call it image container. In that case, like it's just more cleaner in case you wanted to add more stuff to it. And then images container, then you can add a background. This and and you want the width to be 600, you said? And then let's try 600. Let's see. Do you want to interesting the background thing that it doesn't show because the image covers it? Yeah, so I think should be okay unless you want to see the background more. Yeah, if you want it wider you can see it, so
Okay.
it depends like what you want, I guess.
Yeah, so why don't we make the background a little bit wider than the image then, so there's like a little black border.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me see like this. That work? Yeah. Then I can just add a width then. Maybe minimum 800.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so then what if you want to actually be able to navigate directly to a particular image in the carousel? So like you want to go to like the 8th image or something. Can you add page buttons to do that?
Yeah. So you mean like you want to be like click on, if there's like 5 images, you want to click on the second one, you should click, it could go to the second one.
Yeah.
Got it. Sense. Yeah, let's do that. So in that case, I'm thinking that you probably want to have a navigation in the bottom. Let me think. So you have the layout like this, images. You want it to be underneath the images?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why I can put it here then. Navigations bar. So in that case, it could be I would be thinking of some kind of array to display this. Yes. So yeah, probably you need to loop through all the images at the current index. So I will probably gonna make a new component out called navigation bar, just that keep it running. You can reuse it, and then you should pass in the images as a prop, or maybe the data as a prop. Yeah, so that way in here you can go image navigation bar data images. So here we have a data and we wanted to return the component. Data let's map through all of them. So the first thing is the item, the image you're looking at, and then the second prop is the index in the map function. And then you wanted to go one by 0, 1, 2, 3, for example. Let's just show the index. So maybe I can use this. Let's just get this printed the index first for now. Think that I see. I see the problem. I forgot the return statement. And terminate JS content. Seeing like I have an actual. And then here. I get this one. Interesting. Oh, I see. I have I'm missing a div. Okay. I think printing this is not showing up for me. Probably gonna just put it's here, but it's not right place. So I need to put it in the bottom. So you want it to be in the bottom. Now I can fix that. So give me a second. So we're gonna use Flexbox. In this case, we have, this is a flex row by default. If you want to vertical align, you need to use justify select directions, column, and then, I think because this is a black color text, you don't see it, the color white, right here. It is like, so display flag, and then we want to be center. Maybe you can just do it. No, it doesn't work. I think we need to use just the content again. There you go. Is that okay?
Yeah, looks great. Can we try clicking some of the buttons?
Wait, I just put it in line. I need to actually copy paste this.
Okay.
Then I can do it. Yeah. So class name. I'm gonna add a class name for this. Call navigation. Navigation. Okay. Oh, I have a typo. I think I spelled it wrong. Navigation. And then I need to copy the same one I did here. Did I do something here? Change it? I forgot what I did. I think you just refresh yourself. Let's try. The image container need to be below flex direction is column. You want to be vertical. And navigation is okay. Direction needs to be row. Interesting. Let's do it. Fix this by inspecting. Oh, I see. The problem is I put it in the children navigation. This navigation class should be in a parent. So Flexbox works in it's this is the container using Flexbox called column. So you have two of them, one child component and another child component. But inside the child component, we actually want to be display in a row format, not in vertical. So, but I put it in the child
Okay.
subcomponent. It's not right. So let me fix that.
Okay.
And need to be here. Oh, so I have that. And I believe you want to unclick. So the same thing I did before. We have an unclick handler called handle nav. For now, let's keep it simple, and then put it. Okay, put in this component called handle nav. Well, in this case, I think that our state is in a parent currency index, so we should pass on the handler. So in this case, I will put it outside and then do a callback like that. And it's gonna be set current index equals to, you wanted to pass in whatever you want to pass in the index. So you want to pass in whatever index you pass in. So you pass in the index as a parameter here. So index, input index, and we don't want to call it right away. So we have another functions, as this kind of do with closure. So you don't want to call it right away. And then here you pass in giving input index and you set an index. That way it should work. And because we define a handler outside the class, we need to pass in the children component. So in that case, you have navigation bar here. So I'll pass it like that. And I think so. I think that's how you have it. And you can just name the same. And then right here, you can pass in like this. And that should work. Handle should call this one. Let's try it out. Refresh this. Oh, yeah, it works. Okay.
Oh, okay, very nice.
Yeah, it works. So, different images. So I know that it looked kind of ugly. Do you want me to make it look a little nicer?
Sure, yeah. For those previous and next buttons, can you make them look like they're arrows?
Yeah. Oh, the previous and next. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Normally I it may arrow like this. I normally just put it like that. If that works. Oh, interesting. Is this something okay?
Yeah, that looks better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Can you... okay.
I think this is a great place for us to pause, actually. You did fantastic. I would love to hear from you what you thought of this interview. Like, if you were the interviewer, what do you think went well, and what do you think you would do differently?
I think that it's good that I ask clarification questions before I dive into problems. I think that it's important to think about all the requirement upfront. I think it's good that I talk about the state I want to handle before I code. I think that having that logic is good. And also, if I have more time, I do like the fact that I separate these to a separate component so you can reuse the navigation bar in the future.
Yeah.
If I have more time, probably want to style the image as well, but because we only have one like that, there's not much requirement. But I think if the image, this part again more complex, you want to actually put it into a separate component as well. So yeah, I do like the fact I have no edge cases. I'm sure there's other things I can improve, which I can talk about as well.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, I agree with a lot of those things. I like that you started out by asking the clarification questions, especially about the navigation buttons, because I hadn't really mention that in the original problem specification at all. It was just probably going to be like a follow-up question later. So it's great that you got the requirements up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I also thought you did a great job of catching certain errors. Like you caught like the out of bounds error and like easily fixed it for yourself. And because you had gathered the requirements earlier that it should be like a cycling navigation, then you knew exactly what to do in that case. And you were also able to recognize that when you set the background to black, that it was actually being covered by other elements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would suggest if there's one thing that would help, I would suggest just explaining the code a little bit more as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you like wrote like a whole block of code, and I was like, I can try to read this to follow along with what you're doing, but it also helps just communication wise to be able to explain it first and give like a little preview of like this is the code I'm going to write now.
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah.
sure.
So I'm curious to hear from you. What are some of those like edge cases you were thinking about?
Yeah. Mm, well, I'm thinking like, well, I think this is not really user friendly. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And also, I think that it doesn't hover, doesn't show a hand, so people might not know
Mm-hmm.
that it's clickable. So I will
Right.
probably the first thing I would do to unhover, change it to a pointer cursor.
Mm-hmm.
And second part I would do is inside 0, 1, 2, 3. Maybe depend on the requirement. Maybe we should have like a dot that when you hover on it, it can like you can click on the dot inside 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that there's things I feel like this is fine, but when it's first loaded, it kind of like, it kind of like flash it a little bit. So I think that if it's we're using a post request, I would actually add a loading on state
Mm-hmm.
saying that, oh, it's loading before we actually render this whole thing. So it doesn't give like a kind of like clunky user experience. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do. Um, yeah, and what else I was thinking of? Mm, I think this maybe like in terms of maybe want to have a smooth transition instead of like kind of like flash like that, having some animations, a
Mm-hmm.
smooth transition, make a easy user experience overall pleasant. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that like for accessibility wise, it's definitely better to use area rows. So maybe like this button, if for people who have accessibility issues, we can have an arrow button called like navigation, So in that
Mm-hmm.
case, it's if a screen reader catch up, then people know that like this is actually a button called previous button instead of guessing
Okay.
around. So
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
yeah, I was yeah. These are the things I'm thinking. Hmm.
Yeah. I think those are really great points about both accessibility and like usability and just the user experience overall. So
Hmm.
thank you so much for being here with us today, Leanne.
Hmm. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Angie.
And thanks everyone for watching. If you have any upcoming interviews, good luck. Bye everyone.